Hey guys, you're watching BTech. I'm Basil and this is a live Q&A ahead of my full review of the LG V30. The LG V30 is a beautiful 6-inch screened phone. OLED display, it's got awesome audio credentials as well. It's got a quad DAC, so when you plug in headphones it's going to be absolutely smashing it. Now this is being recorded, hey DTB, this is being recorded on the Sony Xperia XZ1's front camera, which is going to be a fair bit better than that of the LG V30. Been using this phone since IFA. It's a phone with many more pros and cons. Hey the chill one, hey Rishi. Yeah, I'm good, thanks DTD. Thank you for asking. Super stoked because the V30 has easily been the best LG phone that I have ever used in my life. Right, everyone's jumping in the room now. We've got Piotr, we've got Akil, we've got Umran, Jack Danielle. Really want a deep dive camera review. Oh, that's a good shout, I will give you that. But if you've got any questions about the camera specifically, to recap, now that you've touched on the camera, I'll talk about the actual optics around the back. You've got two sensors, one wide angle and one regular field of view. The wide angle one is the lesser capable of the two cameras in terms of specs. It's f1.9 and it's also a 13 megapixel snapper. It's also plastic lenses, whereas the 16 megapixel main camera has an f1.6 lens and it's glass lens. Awesome camera. So yeah, the LG V30 has got an awesome camera, the best camera from LG thus far. Is it the best camera in the world? I wouldn't say in terms of pure picture quality, but they're all really good at the moment. The LG V30, however, with regards to its shooting mode, specifically video, can give you the best results. You've got the most control over the footage that you take. Okay, just a few more shout outs. Is OLED inferior to AMOLED? So this is a misconception. AMOLED is actually a branding that Samsung has branded AMOLED. POLED or plastic OLED, which is what's on the LG V30, is the same fundamental technology. Sure, it can be calibrated differently, but when you get down to a sub-pixel level, at least based on what LG told us, they're identical. Samsung, if you want to rebuttal that, be my guest. Right, Rishi Sony's asked, sir, which is better, LG, G6 or V30? V30 every single time, day and night, give me a V30. The G6 was good, the V30 is great. Will there be much difference in final product when it comes to camera performance? I can't say. That's from Piotr. I don't know if there will be. There doesn't need to be for it to be competitive. So the question was, because this is a pre-production device, it's not going to come out like this, apparently, according to LG, but it's still super stable. The performance on it's really strong, and the camera performance is strong too. Is there going to be much difference when it comes to market? Who's to say? If there is, it could become the best camera phone in the world in terms of pure image quality, but right now it's still really good. Romeo Deong, hey Romeo. Gaurav, best phone so far by LG. That's from Gaurav, totally agree. AB Tech, loads and loads of shout outs. Jason McKinnon, will the V30 be released in England? McMeekin. There you go. Jason McMeekin's asked if the V30 will be released in England. Guessing it will. So what happens at all these press events is UK reviewers and journalists are given devices to get early hands-on time with and review if it's coming to the UK. There's no point giving them to UK journalists if they're not coming to the UK. So guessing it will, hoping it will. Be really interesting to see the price of this thing. If you are in the UK, how much would you be prepared to put down for this? I'd be easily prepared to put down about, this is going to sound a lot, but about 600 quid or so, because it's offering a lot of what the Note 8 and Galaxy S8 offer, but a lot of cool different things as well. The Note 8's like over 800 quid, so yeah, be interesting to see what you guys would be prepared to pay. Yeah, I'll talk about the design and my impressions in a sec. I'm just working through your questions. Right, so James Simmons, OLED panels are known for screen burning and I never see people do tests for this. So the reason you probably never see reviewers do tests for this is because, unfortunately, reviewers don't get to keep their phone for long enough to burn stuff into OLED screens. We're constantly swapping phones in order to review them, then sending them back to the manufacturer that makes them. So if you want to know if a phone burns, you're going to have to hang tight, either test it yourself or see YouTube reviews from people who are, you know, reviewing the product. Right, hopefully the camera hasn't just cut out. I'm going to flip to the main camera so we can take a look at the device a little bit. So you can see I'm on a balcony right now. The design of this device is pretty freaking beautiful. The display is 6 inches Quad HD OLED, nice and sharp. Very little bezel going on here. If I long press and maybe tap into YouTube, you can gauge how much is bezel and how much is actual screen. It's really good. Best screen to bezel ratio I've seen in a while. It's also thinner than the LG G6, thinner than the Galaxy S8 Plus, thinner than the Note 8, and lighter too. And so it's just a great looking phone. In terms of in-hand feel, it's very heavily chromed, very reflective, and therefore sweaty palms would make it slippery. Around the back you've also got glass, which is a little bit slippery, but I really like it. It looks super premium, and obviously that glass means that it has NFC without any kind of, whiz pokery, and it's also got wireless charging as well. You've got that dual camera setup around the back. In terms of buttons, it's a SIM card slot which takes micro SD cards as well. Left hand side you've got volume rocker. Up at the top it's that 3.5mm jack. Now this knows what headphones you're plugging in. You can actually customize it for your headphones, the audio, the EQ, which is awesome stuff. And down at the base, USB Type-C, and probably my least favorite thing about it, that mono bottom firing speaker right there. Right, let's get back to my face and let's take some of your questions. So yeah, that was to James Simmons with regards to OLED panels. What's the battery life like? This will last a day, it won't last more. That's with its 3300 milliamp battery, and that's because I'm a pretty heavy user. The wireless charging also isn't quite as quick as with Samsung Galaxy S8, S7s, etc., because they have faster wireless charging. But having said that, if you're just putting it on a wireless charging pad throughout the day, the working day, you should be okay. Definitely get you through a day. And I'm, like I said, a heavy user. It will be released in England. That's from Pre-Ultra. Thanks for confirming. Any word on pricing? I haven't got pricing. If anyone knows pricing in local currencies, feel free to throw it in the live chat. Did they clean up their OS? The OS isn't too cleaned up, I'm afraid. So I can flip around to the rear camera. You've got your home screens. You can long press to get an overview of your home screens. You've got no applications tray by default, but by long pressing and jumping into home screen settings, you can change to home and apps drawer or just general home screens. And yeah, it's not super clean, but that said, it's smooth and it's stable, and given this is pre-production and it's still stable, I've had like no forced closes, so I'm super impressed with that. Super impressed, considering I've just reviewed the Nokia 8, and that's coming to market way sooner and isn't quite as stable. 2 seconds, guys. Back to you. Okay, let's have a look at some of your comments. So pricing again, any word on pricing? Haven't got that yet. How's the display compared to the G6? The display side by side I did with the G6 delivered deeper blacks, punchier colors, and also like it's just got really beautiful viewing angles, but even for an AMOLED. So yeah, super happy. Will you review the Zenfone 4 Pro? Yes, I will. There's going to be a launch event for Europe in the next few months, so I'll be there. In fact, I think it's later this month. I'll keep you guys posted on the Zenfone 4 Pro. What are you guys thinking about the new Zenfone range? I'm super interested to know, because we haven't covered Zenphones much in the past, but yeah, we'll be doing a lot more. XZ Premium versus LG V30, that's from DTB. Yes, we will. XZ Premium versus V30. Done in XZ1 versus the LG V30. That's going live later today. So check the channel for that. And I might try and squeeze a V30 versus in there as well. How is their OIS still, how is their operating system still ugly? So Roland Hamid's asking, how is their operating system still ugly? Dude, the beauty of Android, you can overlay skins on it, and outside of the home screens, it's not too bad an experience at all. In fact, I've gotten used to it pretty freaking quickly. Should people go for the V30 or worth it waiting for the Samsung Galaxy S9? Dude, the Samsung Galaxy S9 isn't going to come out until MWC or after MWC. The Galaxy S8 came out after MWC, and I'm sure the S9 will be amazing, but if you're ready to upgrade now, I personally would probably just go for the V30 if I want really good video, the Note 8 if I want to draw, and the S8 if I just want the sexiest phone around. Yeah. What's the battery life like? I've said this, 3,300 milliamp battery will get you through a day. Screen on time is what kills a battery. Screen off time and it will last and last and last. So any other questions? Roland Hamid, would you say it's close to Samsung Note now? It's super close to the Samsung Note in terms of pure quality. It's a lot lighter, it's a lot less huge, so it's actually a more comfortable phone to just have in your pocket. It being 6 inches and having 18 by 9 display means that it's smaller than the Note. Given the fact it has the same size battery as the Note, I also think it may last longer, but I haven't reviewed the Note yet, unfortunately, so watch this space. But I have done a comparison with the V30 and the Note, so check the channel for that. I did a side-by-side at IFA, and it's super clear that both of these phones are incredibly good looking and incredibly capable. So that was from Roland, thank you. Thank you for your comment, Isaac, you did indeed. The Chill One, S8, Note 8 or V30 in terms of the camera. The Note 8 will have the best camera for me personally. I think the V30 has a lot of potential, but you've kind of got to eke it out. But again, this is pre-production. This isn't a final release in V30, so it could get even better. So the UK price for the V30, Achilles just said is 650 quid, or he said that's what he's prepared to pay. Fair price. It's a really good phone. When you look at the price that Apple's going to be charging for the iPhone on Tuesday, yeah, 650 quid. Totally viable. When will they release 128 gig version? I don't even know if you need 128 gigs. 64 gigs is plenty even for me, and you can thwack an SD card in there. 256 gigs, like 40 quid. You'd probably be better off. I know it's not as quick, but for photos, videos, 4K video, you're going to be fine with an SD card, but I don't know when the 228 gig version is, and answered your question, Roland. Manu, cool LG mobile, battery nice and sleek, but what's the OS like? The OS is super similar to the G6. There are a few enhancements. It's all optimized to take advantage of the screen. So for example, even when I open up the camera, let me flip all this around, the camera shooting modes give you options to do matte shot, so top and bottom. So I'm taking a picture of me doing the live chat. There you go. And then that just pops to the bottom, or like actually then I can match it and put someone's face down there in the background, etc. So it's trying to make squares because this is a 2:1 aspect ratio phone screen. If I jump to the main camera, for example, I can jump out of that mode, and I can go to snapshot. You can see, you can take a picture. I'll take a picture of my coffee, snap that, and then it's going to throw that picture in there, so then I can just keep taking. Again, the whole UI really is optimized around this kind of 2:1 square UI, and you can see what I just tapped. I just tapped in the floating bar. This is to replace a second screen on the V20. It gives me options to jump into the camera. I can jump into a selfie, for example. I can open the floating bar while in selfie mode. I can jump into floating bar settings. I can thwack that open again and see some additional floating bar options. I can record a GIF, crop the screen, or doodle all over the screen. It's pretty handy, and you can also access it from the always on display as well. You may not be able to see it super clearly, but the always on display gives me access to a lot of stuff. Wi-Fi connectivity, I can turn my flashlight on from the always on display. So this floating bar kind of does replace a second screen, kind of doesn't, but I don't mind because I just like this phone's design so much more than the V20. Right, oh, your questions are on fire. I will get to your questions. There are just a lot of them, so thank you guys for being so vocal. Does user interface still look cartoonish? It doesn't. Like you can see, I've got a cartoony background. Let me flip back. I've got a cartoony background on here, but if I just swap out the wallpaper, you're making me swap out my much loved wallpaper, guys. This is how much I'm prepared to do for you. Right, jumping into a wallpaper gallery, let's go for a more conservative wallpaper, set wallpaper, and bam, it looks way less cartoony. You can customize the icon shape as well. Home screen settings, icon shape, original or rounded square. Original looks less cartoony, rounded square maybe looks a bit more cartoony, so it's not as cartoony as Emotion UI out of the box. Also, guys, how are you finding this feed? Because I'm streaming over Vodafone. This isn't a sponsored video, they just lent me the SIM card so I could do some live streams on, so giving a shout out to them. And also, how are you finding this video in terms of audio and visuals, because it's being streamed on an Xperia XZ1. Right, let's get back to my face, get back to some of your questions. Can you compare, how does the front camera compare to the G6? So the front camera is exactly the same as the LG G6. 5 megapixels, not great in low light, pretty freaking muddy in fact, so not the best front camera in the world. Is the V30 competing against the S8 Plus or more than Note 8? Both. It's competing against both. So that was from DTB. Thanks for the question. It's a really good one. I think the Note 8, the S8 Plus, and the V30 are competing against one another, but the S8's even in there as well, the regular one, because the V30 is smaller than the S8 Plus and the Note 8, or at least it's lighter and it's thinner. So it's kind of a bridge in terms of size between the S8 and the S8 Plus. I'm using an Xperia Z2 since Feb. Time for a new one. LG phones reliable in the long run. So there's been lots of stuff about boot looping LG phones in the past. I haven't had a problem with them. I had my LG G4 for about 3 years and I loved it. But yeah, so I think LG phones are reliable. I haven't had any bad experiences. The V30 like seems super premium. It's also military grade tested, so physically it should be reliable. IP68 water and dust resistant as well, and IP ratings just suggest that it's going to be even more reliable and not going to suffer in day-to-day wear and tear. What's the max shutter speed in the manual settings? That's from Gabor. Excellent question. Let's find out. Open up the camera and let's get off my face. And mode, manual, really good question. Shutter speed, maximum time is 30 seconds, super respectable considering Sony gives us a paltry 1 second. So this is kind of like on par with your Samsungs, on par with your Huawei's. Right, back to my face. And some more questions. Is there such thing as a V30 Plus? There isn't the V30 Plus, but I think there's a V30 Pro, or it might be called the Plus. But either way, what that is 128 gig of RAM. That's of RAM. Wow, that would be a super beast of storage. That's the only difference. And that question was from Sean Orgiaco. Thanks for that, Sean. Basil, are you interested in Xiaomi Redmi line? I am interested, Simranjeet, but none of these phones come out in the UK. There are a couple of reasons people suggest why. Some say it's tax reasons. They'd have to pay super high tax if they came out in the West. And some people say that it's relationships. I don't even know. But either way, if Xiaomi came out here, I would be all over them like a rash. Rishi wants to know the V30 price in India. I'm afraid I don't have that, dude. Sorry. Dude, the chill one seems to be prepared to pay 600 to 700 quid. And I think that's super fair. You have to remember, these phones, like, you may see at the end of my videos, I'm like, when you finish with your phone, use them for ages, give them to friends or loved ones. You know, these phones aren't cheap to make. They aren't cheap with regards to the planet. Like Fairphone, a company released a super ethical phone and charged like 500 quid, even though it was like super old specs. That's because when you're actually paying everyone in the supply chain, phones can be pretty expensive. So use your phone, commit to it, and if you're going to get a new one, sell your old one. So yeah, awesome chill one that you're prepared to pay 600 to 700 quid for a phone that's really good, because this phone, on first impression, I say first impression, dude, I've been using it for a week, is really good. Rishi, thank you, I'm your biggest phone. If you meant to say fan, that's cool, I'll take either. Craig David, sorry, you must get that all the time. The camera is vital to me, as it's this or the S8. Next, thoughts? So the S8 probably has a better point and shoot camera in terms of it'll give you a more pleasing image. It will give you an image with more contrast. It'll give you an image with like a brighter low light shot, but occasionally it's more artificially bright and the contrast looks a little bit more artificial. So it's not always better. It just looks better out of the box. So if you're into your photography and you like tinkering, you may be well off shooting RAW on the V30, but if you just want an out of the box solution, the S8 is just so good. Remember guys also that the S8 doesn't have the dual cameras, so it won't offer things like that wide angle second lens, which is excellent. Right, doesn't it have a selfie camera? Yeah, it totally has a selfie camera. It's just the super low resolution. Well, it's 5 megapixels, so it's not super low resolution, but it just isn't a great performer in low light. Also, I'll talk about the videos in a bit, the Cine video effects that you can do. It's got some really, really sweet video stuff. How's the front camera? Just spoke about that. Lag. So Rishi's just spoken about lag. Is that with regards to the feed? If so, I'm super sorry. Let me know. But like I said, this is being streamed at like peak streaming time over a 4G SIM card. Camera versus Xperia XZ1. I've done a side-by-side video test across both devices, so check out VTech if you haven't already, but I haven't done a stills one just yet. Let's take a deep dive into the camera UI super quickly, and we can take a look at the video mode I was talking about. So open up Cine Video, that is in, sorry guys, I can't see, there you go, Cine Video, and you've got these awesome filters. Now these are called gradings or whatever it is, because when you're editing pro video, it's talked about like grading something when you're making it look like different from the out of the box shot. So you can control the vignette and you can control the strength of this grade, so that instantly is going to deliver a huge amount of kind of like visual flair to your shot. Then you can tap on something called point zoom. You can tap on a specific area, so we want to zoom in on that Jaguar, and then I want to drag the bar, sorry, pull back guys, drag the bar, and it's gonna go in super nice and slowly and end up looking really slick. Paired with the optical image stabilization, that's pretty great. One thing to note, you can't use the wide angle lens when you're in Cine Video mode, so I'm going to turn point zoom off, jump out of there, and turn back to my face. Right. Which phone are you using right now? So I'm using the Sony Xperia XZ1 Penrico to stream this. Does it have an IR remote control, Ryan? No IR remote control. Will there be a 6GB version in the future? I hope so. The main thing for me was that this has 64GB of storage as opposed to 32. That was one of my least favourite things about the LG G6, which came out in the UK. How about the Google Pixel 2? How about it, Drake? What do you know? Because I don't know that much. It hasn't been announced just yet. Fingers crossed it's awesome though, obviously. I really want to see them improve the design, because that was my least favourite thing about the original Google Pixel. The design just wasn't all that. Thoughts about the 5 megapixel front facer? Others aren't paying it much attention. That's because it's not particularly great. That was from Robert Lobrera. The front camera isn't too awesome. It's not terrible, and it's actually super flattering because it takes pictures that don't have a huge amount of wrinkles because it softens your face. Can you compare it to the Essential phone? Again, that's from Ismail Hussein. The Essential phone hasn't had a UK release, so can't compare it to the Essential phone just yet because we haven't been sent one, because it hasn't got a UK release in the time frame. I really like the way that you answer questions and connect with everyone. That's from Umram Salim. I really appreciate that. I really want to do these live videos so that I do answer your questions, because often we miss getting to each and every one of your, or I miss getting to each and every one of your comments. So this gives me a great way to just talk to you guys directly. But I always do try and answer your comments. So if you've got any via them, I do get notifications. Wide view doesn't distort anymore. Yeah, the distortion is so much better. I wish I had a G6 to compare it to. But if I pop this open, you can see it's in wide view now. And in fact, it's actually perfect because down below is actually kind of effectively a grid. So that's the regular field of view. The old one, it would have so much more distortion around the edges. It would have loads more barreling. So super cool. I really like it. I'll flip back, answer some more of your questions. Is the Note 8 worth the extra €300? I would say it is if you enjoy sketching. If you don't enjoy sketching, then probably not. The thing is, actually, I take that back. If the S8 Plus came out with dual cameras, and the specific dual cameras on the Note 8, it would be amazing. That would be like my dream phone if I didn't dig sketching, and a bigger battery. So give me a 3500 milliamp battery in the S8 Plus with dual cameras. But in the meantime, if you want a big phone with dual cameras and very little bezel, the V30 is Definitely one of the best out there. Are you Note 8 painting guy? Akin Oze, yeah, I am. So if you search Note 8 speed sketch, that's a speed sketch that I did. Hopefully you enjoy it. Simran Jeet asks, is Gina still with the channel? Nope, Gina is not with the channel, just me. But we'll be growing the team potentially in the future, but I'm super happy for her. She is working at another network as a political broadcaster, because she's serious. Me on the other hand, I just can't stop talking about phones. Donald Rogers is saying that the quality of the stream's okay. Phew. Thank you, and thank you Vodafone once again for lending us a SIM card to do our live streams from. How's screen on time? I haven't done a screen on time test. I haven't done a fast charging test either. I do need to do a few more tests before my full review. I've been using it like my primary phone in day to day, and completely subjectively the screen on time is actually really good. It's quite it has a pretty high default level of brightness, so I leave it quite high, and that means it runs out a little bit quicker, but still gets me through a day, which is cool. Does it record full HD at 60 frames per second? That's from Adnan Raza. I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but I'm not going to confirm or deny that until I jump in. In fact, let me flip this around and you can see the shooting options. Flip it round, shooting options right there. And so you've got Ultra HD 16:9, Full HD 18:9, Full HD 16:9, 60 frames per second. Bam! So yes, it does. Awesome stuff. Sorry about that. So I said no, but it's obviously a yes. Good thing I checked it. Right, back to me. Any word on price and availability in the US? I don't have price and availability. I think £900 for the Note 8 is crazy. What are your thoughts? That's from Arsenal Glasgow. Yeah, £900 for the Note 8 is crazy. Like, the annoying thing about the Note 8 is it's got a USP, that pen. And those cameras are good, but like, they're not really a USP. It's the pen. And a lot of people who commented on other videos I've done, they do AutoCAD work. They're professional illustrators. Samsung's kind of doing an Apple. They're releasing a product which they know people will pay a lot for if they need that specialization, and they couldn't get a Note 7, so they just have to get the Note 8 now. Or they don't, or they can just not. But it really is the best pen experience I've ever used on a smartphone. In fact, because I prefer the S Pen to the Apple Pencil in terms of the Apple Pencil doesn't have the kind of spring-loaded tip. It doesn't provide the same resistance that I want. It makes it feel more like pen and paper with the S Pen. Personally, I prefer that. I know I'm going to get shot down by a lot of digital artists out there, but yeah, I think £900 is crazy, but I still think people will buy it. And plus, remember, Samsung isn't like iPhone. The price goes down much quicker than Apple prices go down. And so you'll probably be picking it up for 60 quid on contract now, 50 quid within the next couple of months, 40 quid within the next 3 or 4 months, and yeah, 40 quid a month that is, which is still super expensive, but yeah. What's the story with the B&O? So the B&O is all about the tuning. If I jump into the notifications, let me reverse the camera around. Notifications right there. You can see Hi-Fi Quad DAC. I can long press it and it should take me to the options. In fact, it won't until I connect a headset. So the options are for the graphic equalizer. It's all optimized better than a regular smartphone. I've done a quick side-by-side with not the Sony Xperia XZ but with the Galaxy S8, and it did sound better, but I don't know if that was just me looking out for it. I have to do some more objective tests. If I jump into the settings, I can see what sound options it gives me. Sound and notifications, sound profile. It doesn't seem Hi-Fi Quad DACs. Yeah, so that option is disabled annoyingly because I don't have headphones plugged in. So yeah, one thing I haven't mentioned actually, which is super awesome about it, when you're focusing, when you tap through, once it locks on focus, it gives you a mini vibrate. I've not seen that on any other device. If it is on other devices, let me know, but it's vibrating every time it locks on focus, and that's so handy. It's like the beep beep with a camera, but it's with a vibration, and it's perfect for when the phone is on mute. Right, back to my face, back to your questions. Is 4 gigs of RAM enough? 4 gigs of RAM is enough for me. So 4 gigs of RAM is going to mean that you can have a whole load of foreground processors going, and it will shut down background processors that you haven't used in ages more quickly than say the 8GB OnePlus 5 will. Personally, I don't mind that too much, but yeah, if you're a heavy multitasker and you need all your background processes to stay open, then you may want to. Specifically, it's with regards to gaming that might be a thing. What about battery life? For me, the V10 battery life is not good. What about the V30? V30 will get me through a day, and that's from Atif. And Gavin Uri's here. He's basically in an old live stream told everyone in the feed that he was heaps better looking than me. Thanks for that. It's okay. I take it. But greetings, dude. So the first question was from Captain Bomber about the RAM. Simranjit, what apps do you use to measure sound level? So if you go into the Google Play Store, there's Sound Meter Pro, I think it is, so you can check that out. Wow, life well done, brother. Thanks, Kamal. Span, when will you have an official unit? This is technically an official unit, it's just a pre-production unit. Haven't had a firm date for when we'll get a final release unit. I'm guessing actually all it'll be is a software update that will roll on to here. So hey dude, you're right. Parid Nacella, how good is a bottom firing speaker? It's loud, but it's too easy to cover up. Thanks for that, Parid. I always grump at bottom firing speakers because they're too easy to cover up and I game a lot. This is a good phone for gaming, but use Bluetooth headphones or regular headphones. What's nice is the headphone jack's on the top right hand side, so you can actually hold it pretty comfortably like so, and the headphone jack isn't gonna like get in the way of your hand. And obviously with that quad DAC, the sound is just going to be great. LG V30 has a notification light. I haven't seen a notification light in action. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the always on display that compensates for there not being a notification light on here. Simranjit Singh, Basil, I've been watching your videos for quite some time. Thank you, dude. Awesome. Techline HD. Hey, Basil. Hope you're doing fine. Hey, you okay? Good to see you. What colours will be available in the UK? I'm hoping all the colours. So this is going to be available in a silver, a lilac, black, and a blue variant as well. I've heard that the screen is brighter than the one on the Note 8. What's your opinion? I haven't done a side-by-side, but it does get very bright. I haven't had any issues. In fact, let me ramp up to max brightness. I'm outdoors right now, so what am I doing? Flip the camera around. Hopefully that all works. There you go. So I'm outdoors right now, so if you can see the screen, it's not super bright admittedly. Swipe all the way and you can see that's max brightness. The fact you can see it, it's not super sunny, but it's pretty sunny outside, is a good sign that you can see the screen, because like I said, outdoors tend to struggle, and you can see how good the viewing angles are on this thing. This whole phone generally is just freaking awesome. Absolutely loving it. Like I said, main issues with it, bottom firing mono speaker, but that's not the end of the world. And the front camera isn't super high resolution. Other questions, and back to my face so you don't have to see random cars. Issues with display. So Raghav Bhargav asked, are there any issues with its display? He's seen that in some other articles. I don't know what those issues are. If you can let me know, that would be a big help, and I'll tell you if I've experienced them. I haven't had any, I'm so surprised that I haven't had any software issues or issues with the display, this being pre-production. How did you get into YouTube? I was a technology journalist, so started BTech as a technology journalism channel, but actually found that a lot of you guys just wanted someone to talk to about phones, or someone to basically do it in less journalistic ways and just more give you their opinion as and when it happens. So that's what I'm trying to do, especially with these live shows. The PPI is higher on the Note 8 than the V30. Yes, it is, but that doesn't pertain to brightness. It's all about nits. So if someone knows the nits of both of these devices, that would be helpful. But yeah, even if you don't, both side by side will look really good. I mean, standalone, their screens are so screen heavy as opposed to bezel heavy that they just engulf you when you look at them. The side bezels are bigger on the V30, but on the Note 8 their top bezels are bigger. So yeah, silver looks the best, to be honest. Right, doesn't it? Ethical Guru says, hi bro. David Baptista, hey David, thanks for your tweet as well. How are the black levels compared with Samsung's AMOLEDs? Yeah, great, excellent black levels. Side by side with the S8 and S8 Plus is really strong. Viewing angles, like I said, great. And the fact it doesn't have the curved screen means there's no distortion at the sides. It's Android. Simran Jade's asking about Android One. Does it have a future? Dude, I honestly don't know, I'm afraid. I used a couple of Carbon devices, and they were fine. I like that they were promised software updates earlier, but I don't know the current state of Android One. Hey brother, do you know about the frequency response of the DAC? Dude, sorry, I would love to be an audio specialist, but as it stands, I'm just someone who really digs listening to music, and I just know that this is great to listen to music on. And again, headphones side by side with the S8, this seemed better on first impression. Could you please say again when you'll have an official unit? I missed it. That was from Span. I don't know. So this is an official unit, but the update will roll out hopefully to take it through to an official firmware, and then we'll be able to post something conclusive. But dare I say it, I think the fact that this isn't final and it's so good bodes incredibly well for the LG V30. And that, my friends, is pretty much it. One final question from Mohammed before I sign off. Can you tell me the difference between the LG V30 and Galaxy Note 8 display? Sure I can. The LG V30 display is 6 inches and 18 by 9. The the Note 8 is 6.3 inches and 18.5 by 9. Both are Quad HD resolution, both are AMOLED. So technically speaking, the V30 will be sharper. Like I said, I haven't done a side-by-side, so I can't give you an insight into brightness, I'm afraid. Right, final questions. David, how's the digital stabilization on the wide angle lens? Yeah, super good. If you watch any of my V30 video comparisons, you'll see even in low light the stabilization just smashes it on the wide angle lens as well. Wide angle, you don't need a super amount of stabilization, and also because you've got that extra wide angle, cropping in a little bit in order to engage that electrical image stabilization won't impact the video all that much. Right, back to my face, and I hope it's gonna drive 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz at least. Thank you anyway, amigo. That's from Explicit Content, who obviously knows more about audio than I do. I appreciate you chiming in on that one. Can you set full grey image on screen and show us a full grey image? Is that screen calibration, or is that kind of screen test thing? If you can clarify, that would be great. I'll show you the screen options though. Jumping into the settings, can go into display size, display resolution, comfort view, black and white. Oh, if that's what you mean, then awesome. In fact, can't actually select any of these. Use comfort view, use black and white. There you go. So that what you mean? And so just like with the OnePlus, you can have full grey scale, all that good stuff. So potentially also with the AMOLED, saving some battery as well. Everything just looks grayscale, making it look like there's a monochrome sensor, but unfortunately no monochrome sensor. So can flick open YouTube, can jump into like something that's a bit more colorful, like the comparison video that I did, and there you go. Full grayscale. Hopefully that's given you an insight into how that works. Pretty much done, guys. Any more questions? How does it feel compared to the V20? Infinitely better. Thanks, Yasin. It's just a way better design, and it just looks and performs like a champion. The V20 camera also over-processed stuff, just like the the LG G6. This has less aggressive processing after a week of using it. How's the battery? Lasts a full working day. iPhone 7 Plus versus V30. Good shout, Mateo. That's a video I will do. Thinking about photos rather than videos, and that was David Baptista. Yeah, okay, good point. I have taken like photos in the wide angle. Let me pull them up, and I can pinch in right up close for you. Two shakes, just swiping through to them now. I have to swipe. Okay, so bear in mind that this is in black and white mode. So this is wide angle, this is regular angle, this is regular angle zoomed in, this is wide angle zoomed in. Can get really close, and you can see that's the kind of detail that you can expect from wide angle. It was good light but that's pretty good considering that there's no image stabilization on there. But the real test will be when we take this into low light. Will the battery last full working day? Yep. I have a link to the article. That's from Raghavar. Thanks, Raghavar. I will have a look when I jump off this. If you can put it in a comment in this video, that would be great. Does the black glass have oleophobic coating? The back glass, it does seem to. This attracts fingerprints, but not as readily as devices with no oleophobic coatings. Do you know about GSM Arena? Yes, I do know about GSM Arena, Simran. Awesome site. I actually used to work for Phone Arena back in the day. Rob Pascoe, hello mate. Will the Plus model be released in Europe? Thank you, keep up the good work. Awesome, cheers dude. I don't know if the Plus model will be released in Europe. I hope it will. But either way, like I said earlier, do you know what? 64 gigabytes of storage is plenty for me if I get an SD card. So if I was going to pick up a OnePlus, I'd get the 128 gigabyte. But if I was picking up something like this, thanks to the SD card support, I would probably pick up the 64. Save my pennies. Which display is the best? LG V30 S Plus? Dude, all the rest of the questions, I'm going to have to... In fact, it's just a few more. But I'm going to have to call it a day because I got somewhere to be in like 10 minutes. And this has been a 40-minute live feed. You guys are incredible. Thank you for keeping this live feed going for that long. The questions are still coming through. Thank you, Raghavar. Please post that to the channel. If you enjoyed this video, click that thumbs up button. Subscribe to BTech. You're probably already subscribed if you're watching this. But yeah, subscribers help us out massively. And I'm going to be making loads more videos on all these devices. So stay tuned and let me know what kinds of videos that you want to see. Have a great day, guys. Bye.